or Hand Collectibles radio show with Darren Kimura. Wednesdays at 6 p.m. on ESPN Honolulu. Darren brings the latest in sports cards and memorabilia. What's trending? Who's hot? Check out upcoming releases and grading services, plus exclusive interviews and your calls. Sponsored by Papa John's Pizza, the Club Hale, Fairway Independent Mortgage Corporation, and the Honolulu Chinese JCs.
So the dream was to build your very own law practice. Be your own boss, call all the shots. But have things like billing, HR, timekeeping, and all the other management stuff turned your dream into a nightmare? Take charge of your practice with Lexicon. We're the intersection of practice management software and legal support services for your firm. You'll get more billable and livable hours back. Lexicon marks the spot for all your practice management needs. Visit lexiconservices.com/intersection to get the whole story or schedule a demo.
This is ESPN Honolulu, KKEA Honolulu, AM 1420 and K224FR, Honolulu, 92.7 FM.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Steve Lennox on the NBA scoreboard. They have reached the fourth quarter in Denver. Nuggets looking for a home victory tonight against the Clippers, and right now leading 104-95. Tuesday night in NYC, Hawks Trae Young, 24 at the half, 38 points through 3. He ended up with 45, knocked down 7 threes, also dished out 8 assists. Hawks able to come back in the fourth quarter, beat the Knicks 117-111 with the victory. The Hawks avoid being swept in the season series by New York, also moved back to 500 at 36-36. In Orlando, Magic beat the Warriors 94-90. Warriors just 4-8 over their last 12. In Milwaukee was blowout city for the Bucks.
Bucks have the ball again out in front comfortably after the timeout as Grayson Allen's got on the left wing, lobs over the shoulder to Giannis. Giannis between a crowd of defenders, lays it in up close, tried to dunk it as he was falling down. He'll get the points, and the Bucks go the other way on defense, leading 109-84. Chicago trying to stop the bleeding here tonight.
And the Bucks beat the Bulls 126-98. Giannis double-double, 25 and 17 rebounds. The call from WTMJ Radio. Ash Barty announcing on social media Tuesday night that she is retiring from tennis. Barty, the world's #1 women's tennis player, said in her video that she leaves the sport feeling proud and fulfilled. NFL notes, Vikings and linebacker Zadarius Smith agreeing on a 3-year deal Tuesday worth $42 million. The signing from ESPN's Jeremy Fowler and Adam Schefter. Buccaneers and running back Leonard Fournette agreeing on a 3-year deal worth $21 million. That again from ESPN's Adam Schefter.
Keyshawn, J. Will, and Max.
I think Matt Ryan has a lot of juice left in him. He has the perfect situation. Now go get Julio Jones, get another receiver. I think the Indianapolis Colts will be okay.
More from the guys Wednesday morning starting at 6 Eastern on ESPN Radio and ESPN2.
Pacxa, Coors Light, and Ruby Tuesday Hawaii presents Call the Coach with Timmy Chang. Brought to you by HGEA, Hawaiian Financial Federal Credit Union, and IBEW Local 1186. You can catch Call the Coach on the air on ESPN Honolulu's Facebook page or live from Ruby Tuesday Moanalua. Here's Bobby Curran.
Welcome. A historic night tonight. This is the first ever Call the Coach with Rainbow Warrior head coach Timmy Chang. Timmy, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for having me, Bobby.
I just think this is going to be so much fun because I was saying this to Timmy just a minute ago. There's some people that get a job and you feel like this was like fate. This is some kind of kismet here. Because I'm looking over at your tribe. Your mom is here. I remember I was telling you, and I'd see you play. Your dad was on the sidelines. He was the red hat. I was like, this is you. You were meant to be here.
Yeah, it's funny. We were talking, and ran a run and shoot offense at St. Louis. It just so happened the only other two people in the world running run and shoot were Miles Davis and June Jones. And June's at San Diego Chargers, and he takes the job to Hawaii. And I told no to every other school in the country, and I said, no, I'm staying home, and I'm going to play here. And it just happened to be the same offense, and the rest is history.
Didn't take long for you to pick that up and start running crazy numbers here. And I'm imagining that there's going to be a lot of elements in that run and shoot in what you guys are doing now.
Sure. we just hired Jared Ursula as our receiver coach, and it was just a couple weeks ago. I was pondering on giving up the receiver job a little bit, just because I wanted, with Ian Shoemaker taking over the offense, I really wanted to have the run and shoot aspect of teaching the guys how to read coverages, the receivers how to read coverages, how to get to those open areas, and a lot of the things we've done in the run and shoot, kind of implement it here and put it in its background. A lot of these great offenses two great offenses that have been here are June's run and shoot and Bob Wagner's wing T.
Yes.
And so definitely run and shoot background is going to be in it, and we'll be able to throw the ball down the field and be able to manipulate coverages and get open.
I read some comments by Ian Shoemaker, and it sounds like he's not opposed to RPOs. And I mean, he basically has a mixed bag of running, throwing. So if I had to classify the offense, he has a whatever works offense.
Yeah, he has. It is a unique style. I mean, it's to be number one at anything. It means that you're really good at what you do. And so he was the number one offense in the country this past year at Eastern Washington. When I heard he was on the market to be hired. That was one of the first calls I made.
Hey, you'd never met him?
Never met him. I was in San Diego, actually recruiting for Colorado State at the time, and for me it was I just picked up the phone and called, and I just kind of liked his mentality, how he talked, what the concepts we're talking about, and I got really excited and intrigued, and then as I did more research on him, it's something that I wanted to do and learn. And of course, in this profession, you're always seeking professional development yourself. And so that just helps you grow who you are and add more value to your coaching career.
I thought we would talk a little bit. When I first heard Jared Ursula, and I'm like, is that any relation to John? This is his brother. I was like, because John Ursula is one of my all-time favorite receivers here.
He's, John is really special. John was at practice today, watching his older brother coach. Chad Owens was out there with John, and so I'm looking at the sideline. You got Jared Ursula coaching, and you got John Ursula, one of the best slot backs in Hawaii history. You got Chad Owens, one of the best slot backs in UH history, and you got the two just watching practice, and I'm like, this is pretty cool. And Jared, we've had a great relationship. I've been running into him as we recruit in California or Las Vegas or different areas across the country. Been following his career, and he's it's very promising.
Okay, Timmy, I got a text. We're going to try to intersperse calls and texts. It is called Call the Coach, so please feel free. It's my first time having this extended conversation, too, so I'll try not to hog our new head coach. But here's your question. How many players have you signed since signing day, and how many scholarships are left?
That's a good question. When I took the job, we had 17. I think we signed 5 so far, but we also signed a lot of gray shirts and blue shirts, so there's more that's added to the roster as of right now.
Right, so those guys don't count against your initial 25.
So the initial 25, we're probably going to have, I think we got about 12 or 11 more spots left for the job. But I think for our 23 class, we're taking up some numbers and we're pushing some guys forward to add to this group.
I'm guessing that you guys have, there's not really a rush, especially the way the portal works. There's so many players that could come available. They thought they were going. They thought they had it locked up at, Oregon. But suddenly a guy was really good, and they decide, well, this guy maybe we're going to wait on him, and he wants to play now. There's myriad situations where you might get somebody that most people would say, well, that's probably not a Hawaii get. That's not gettable.
Well, the thing about it is that me and Jared just had this conversation leaving the office to come to this event, and we were talking, and we're just telling ourselves, be patient. We can't get guys into school now, and there will be a plethora of guys like how we've experienced over spring ball that, they're going to find out where they are in depth charts and where they are positioned at some of these other schools. And really, they're going to come here to play for an opportunity. And that's all we can ask. Just give guys opportunities to come and showcase their talent. And as an athlete, as a student athlete, when you're working so hard to be the best at something, that's all you know. You blood, sweat, and tears go into training and playing. And so sometimes these athletes, when they get to a place and they're just sitting on the side and not being able to play for whatever reasons, right? And there's 1,000 of them. They start to look elsewhere, and all they want to know is that, hey, I just want to get on the field and play. And so that's where some of those guys, get filtered out, and we might get a couple.
Here is the follow-up on that last question. He said, and this is a good one. I think people would like to hear the answer to this. Also, how are you and your family adjusting to coming back home?
I think those kids love it too much, man. It's a Tuesday, and I'm watching the film, and I see my sons doing front flips into the bags and all type of things, and I'm thinking, like, this is a school day, they should be at school right now, but they're true warriors of, they're coaches' kids, and they. Selfishly, I'm pursuing my career to provide for them, and I'm taking them from place to place all over the country. Sometimes in my career, me and my wife had to spend months apart, because she's from Canada. She had to go back to Canada and live her residency there to be considered a resident. And through that process, it's tough, but I think they enjoy it. They love it, and I'm definitely a family guy. I mean, I'm in the office and we're working and we're grinding, and if I'm not there, I'm home with them and enjoying them.
Well, this is a heck of a tribe you got going. You got a basketball team already. I don't know if we're going to get a full offense for football. My guess is maybe not. Sherry might have a weigh in on that one. Well, let me get to some of the things, because hiring a staff. Now, a lot of guys are familiar, Abraham Elamemi and Jacob. There's Chris Brown played here. There's a lot of guys that have a connection, but there's also guys that I'm guessing have relatively little experience in Hawaii.
Yeah, it's a mixed bag of guys. The common denominator I tell people is it's guys that I felt like were like-minded, that didn't have an ego, that when we walk into a room together, we put our ideas on the table, we're going to walk away with the best idea. And it's not necessarily whose idea it is. It's just the one that's the best. And these guys, some of them I worked with along the way in my path. Some of them I call them young guns. They're in their 24, 23, 25-year-old age, and they're just grinding and working. And then you got guys with older experience that have a wealth of knowledge, like Ian Shoemaker, Etienne, Josh Brown, and then you got guys that are from the islands and that played here, that know the land, that know the makeup of the culture and the Polynesian culture. So it's a pretty unique group, but I think we have a lot of fun in the office. I think we have too much fun right now.
Well, I don't know if you can have too much fun as long as the work's getting done, as June used to say. But if you're playing college football in Hawaii and you're not having fun, you need to get out of here, because how could this not be fun?
No doubt. And what I mean by having fun, those guys go play basketball on Thursday. And so once I found out they were playing basketball as a staff on Thursday, I had my video coordinator go out and film them so that we'd come back in the office, and after our staff meeting on Thursday, we'd break down their film and their technique and stuff.
Great.
Oh, yeah, and so that's been fun to watch. And but they all get along together. And it's been cool to see.
Tell me about when you start a spring, and everybody, as you said, best idea, and everybody's kind of trying to figure this out, what you're going to implement. How do you coordinate that? I mean, at what point do you have to just say, okay, we got a bunch of ideas, we got to pick one?
Yeah, true. We right now we're throwing everything at the wall right now, and this is the time to experiment. This is the time to see what you can and can't do. Today was the first day, actually, we got to see our talent level and what we can do football-wise. We'll continue to evaluate that process for 14 practices But after the 14 practices and through the 14 practices in 5 weeks, we'll start finding out what we're good at and what we want to do, and that's good. And then asking these kids what they can do also. It makes a lot of sense. You got to look at your roster. You got to look at the type of bodies you have to fit the roster and put these kids into position to be successful.
We have a number of kids that are coming back. I didn't even realize till I had the spring roster that Blessman Ta'ala was able to come back. Now, that guy, I think we used to call that out of American Samoa. We used to call him, because I don't think he'd ever lifted weights when he got here. But we call that country strong.
Oh, man.
Because that guy's a beast. I'm thinking that's not a bad way to start in the middle.
He actually is. I got to see him for the first time in practice, and he is really strong. He put some hands on some guys today and really set the pocket and make sure he had his gap. And when he strikes you, he moves you. And then he's moved, and it's not like we don't have big guys on the offensive line. I mean, he's moving guys that are 280, 290 and handling them. And so, he had a pretty cool power clean number. I think he had 400 pounds on the power clean the other day. But really strong. He's really an anchor, and he's what we're going to build our defensive line around. I
remember a previous coach said, he didn't talk much. You're not a guy to you kind of lay out the plan. This is what you need, and he just does it. There's not a lot. There's no complaints. There's not a lot of coming back at you. He just does the work.
Yeah, and that's kind of the whole Polynesian culture and the Polynesian way. They're very respectful. Very gentle giants, but when you put the pads on, the beast in them comes out.
Right, which is thank God, because you can use that. What was your first thought? You said you're looking at the talent level. I guess the question a lot of people, you lost a lot of good players, transfer portal, etc. When you look at it, do you think, okay, this is enough, we can work with this, or do you think, got to upgrade this in a hurry?
No, I think we got pieces that we can work with. You're always going to want with those guys leaving, you're always going to want to add more depth. And I think that's where it starts to get a little tricky. If we can continue with these scholarships that we talked about earlier to add starter-like caliber guys, that's just going to add depth and competition to the roster. And when you have competition, it just brings out the best in you. Those guys are going at it. They're trying to be better than the other guy, and it just raises the bar and the standard for what is set. And then, and if guys come in and they don't beat them out, then you knew that you had the right guy, but at least you added depth in case something else happens, because these 12 games are long, 13 games are long.
Let's get to this question, Timmy, because everybody, I think, wants to know this. As you get ready, you're going to be playing in your third game as a head coach in Ann Arbor at Michigan. That would, for a lot of people, they would maybe go to the AD and say, hey, could you guys think this one over a little bit? I mean, who would sign up for that?
It's pretty cool, I think. I've never been there, and I'm looking forward to going there and taking the guys and competing up there. Dave Mallon is a proud
He's
graduate.
A grad. Yes,
He's a
he
proud
is.
graduate. So I'm pretty sure the deal was sweetened a little bit for us to go. But what an experience. What excitement that you could tell these kids, like, hey, you guys want to go to an NFL? Well, go test yourselves. Test yourselves against the so-called best in the country, and go see the measuring stick, and do it at the place that holds the most people.
I mean, when you walk in there and there's 107,000 screaming maniacs, everybody in maize and blue, I mean, it makes your heart beat faster. I'm telling you what, your guys will be no exception.
I hope we have good communication skills that day.
There you go. I hope you're good at silent counts. I mean, get that part down, because you won't be able to hear yourself think. We have got to take a quick timeout. We are at the initial Call the Coach with Rainbow Warrior head coach Timmy Chang. We're at Ruby Tuesdays, and this is Call the Coach.
March Madness? Sure, but there are other options. How about March Maintenance? Get a loan for home repairs or a remodeling project, or March Money Management. Use a loan to consolidate your debt. Or how about March Memories? Whisk away on that dream vacation. Now through the end of April, Hawaiian Financial Federal Credit Union is offering a personal loan rate of just 2.74 APR. Visit highficu.com for details. Rate includes 2.5% reduction rate for auto pay, 1-year term, rate based on credit score. All rates subject to change without notice. APR equals annual percentage rate. Federally insured by NCUA.
Here's something new from Pacxa, Hawaii's premier technology provider. HPE Electra powers your data from edge to cloud. The HPE data infrastructure is AI-driven, built for cloud, and delivered as a service. The solution provides fast, consistent performance and 99.9999% guaranteed availability. To learn more and to schedule a demo with Pacxa, Hawaii's HPE Gold partner, go to paxa.com/Electra. That's paxa.com/ALLETRA.
Progressive presents Forced Metaphors about bundling your home and auto.
In sports, 3 goals is a hat trick. And when you bundle your home and auto with Progressive, you get a hat trick of great savings and round-the-clock protection. So you might be thinking, wait, that's 2 things. A hat trick is 3. But in this metaphor, great savings counts as 2 goals, and so does round-the-clock protection. So it's like 4 goals, and that's more than 3. It's basic math.
Forced Metaphors, presented by Progressive. Bundle and protect today. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Discount not available in all states or situations.
Hey, you see Tony's face?
Yeah, he's using one of them Dollar Shave Club 6-blade razors with 6 stainless steel blades for a close shave. His face is as smooth as a river rock.
Smooth as a nice olive oil.
Like a bowling ball.
Like silk pajamas.
Like a seal down at the aquarium.
Like a ball of wax.
Wax job?
Hey, no one said nothing about a wax job, okay? Quit being a wise guy.
Dollar Shave Club, for a noticeably smooth shave. Find us in stores and at dollarshaveclub.com.
Call the Coach with Timmy Chang on ESPN Honolulu.
Tuesday evening, appropriate enough. We're covering the basics tonight with Timmy Chang because he's seen these guys for exactly 1 practice. I mean, today was the opener. You get 15. That hasn't changed, correct?
Yeah, correct. We'll spread out 15 practices over 5 weeks, so we'll practice 3 times a week. In that 4th week on that Saturday, we'll have our Island Day, which is our spring game, and we'll have a fun-filled event for the fans. We'll play a real game. Haven't figured out the format, but we'll play some tackle football and have some entertainment for everybody before the game. And really, it's a test run. It's a test run that we didn't get to do last year because of the rules and the regulations of COVID. But definitely want the fans out there, want the students involved too. The community and the students are everything. It's so much fun when everybody's out there and having fun and enjoying themselves during a UH football game.
I know a lot of people are looking ahead to when NASED, which will be the new Aloha Stadium and Entertainment District. But I got to tell you, the job UH did in getting Ching ready to go, I thought was nothing short of remarkable. And we haven't seen it full yet, but I have a feeling when that's full, you're going to get opposing coaches complaining, it's ridiculous. We just come out here and get our butts whipped because we're playing on this. I was like, doesn't matter the reason. Doesn't matter. What was your first thought when you saw it?
I'm excited. I mean, there's a lot of games that I've got to watch last year. Hawaii competing against mainland teams and in our conference, and I'm just watching these games. Fresno State. The last game of the season was Colorado State. I got to watch, and it was fun. I mean, the Colorado State kind of picked up a little bit, but getting this job, I just I kind of like the idea that we're going to play on campus. And and be able to pack that thing, have the students walk right down, have the community flood in. And jockey for parking and getting in there and putting on a live band and just having food and being able to drink and have drinks and then just enjoying the game. I think it's going to be a really good time.
Let me ask you about your roster size because you came in. Now, everybody I think who pays attention knows you can have 85 scholarship players. A lot of teams, and I think this was probably the case for you guys at Nevada, a lot of teams tend to have between 105 and 115. In a home game, they might suit most of them up. Where would you like to be total roster?
As suiting up, Well, let's talk about the roster size. We like to maximize the roster, and that roster is going to depend on the numbers the athletic department has and dealing with Title IX and those type of things. As far as having those guys and suiting up guys and having them suit up during the game, it's like an honor and a privilege, in my opinion, to be suited up.
No question.
And these guys, not everybody's going to play. You only can play 11 guys at a time. We want to play the best guys, but those guys that do work week in and week out, and the dedication and the things that we're asking them to do, it's a reward.
Absolutely.
It's a reward.
I totally get that.
And it's a privilege to be on the sideline wearing that uniform and your fans and your family watching you, and whether they're there in the stands or back home, knowing that you're just part of something, part of a team, is pretty special.
Look, this is a text for you, Timmy. Where can we buy Brotherhood shirts? Hopefully Adidas can print some.
Oh, that's a tricky question right now. We're trying to find out. Who owns the copyright for Brotherhood, and so Brotherhood 808, if you're listening, we'd like to talk to you.
Yeah, there you go. All right, hey, they got a share on that one.
Yeah, they came up with the correct name, and so it's pretty good.
This is a two-part deal. One is a statement, the other is a question. Will we keep the 15 decal on the helmets to continue honoring Colt? And a guy says he really appreciated your words at Colt's celebration of life. Go get him.
We're going to do a couple different things. I hope one of our games falls on the 15th, and that'd be easily Colt Brennan Day. When we're riding on the catamaran to go put his ashes out to the sea with the rest of the family and a whole bunch of people that loved and cared about him, it started making me think about what we can do as a tradition, and honoring him every game and doing something. I know they played some Bob Marley between the third and fourth quarter, but as a new head coach, there's new traditions that we're going to want to either establish, bring in, or develop, or bring back. And so Colt's in our thoughts in doing that, and we'll definitely have something to honor him because that guy was special. I mean, he was I admired him. As I was done playing football and I would come back to the stadium and watch these games, it was unbelievable watching those guys.
Yeah.
And it was pretty fun.
They had a lot of people debate what was the better team, 2006 or 2007, because they were both awesome. But I'm kind of in the camp that might say it might actually have been 2006, even though they lost 3 games, really close games. But this 2007 team, of course, gets credit for having gone undefeated regular season until they ran into Georgia.
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing. They're all debatable, right?
Yeah. But I mean, listen. I think here's the deal, Timmy, and I don't know. Certainly not in the most recent edition of Rainbow Warrior Football. I think people are excited because what they sense is that there's a desire and a willingness to get this program back to where it was, where Saturday nights in Manoa are it.
Yeah. There were some unbelievable Saturday nights in Halava.
Yep.
When June took over, in 99, when we played in 2000, 2004, and Colt played from 2005, 2007, those are nights that I remember and I embraced. It got me to stay home. It got me fired up about playing for the state. I saw the state rally around that 99 team, and I was there for my junior and senior at St. Louis watching, the team go 0-18 at one point.
Yeah.
And so when I saw the state rally, that was special to me. I mean, that hit home, and I was like, if that's our home, I want to be a part of it, and I want to stay home. And so if we can recapture that, and put on just a line of W's and just keep one game in and one game out, just win. There's a lot of work to be done though. I mean but once you get it rolling, it gets to be pretty fun.
Sometimes we get questions on Call the Coach where people assume that you are like the decision maker, facilities, mate, everything at UH, and here's one of those.
Okay.
Coach, do you know if tailgating will be allowed? We need tailgating for UH football games.
You know, I know the answer to this question, and that's why I keep selling something else. It's when they made the decision, right? And our administration, they didn't know Aloha Stadium that was going to happen to Aloha Stadium at that particular time and be deemed not being able to have fans and those type of things. That it just kind of just fell upon them. So they got to go and problem solve. And so one of the solving problems was to have TC Chang, and when doing so, I don't think they wanted open fires and those type of things in the parking lot and those type of cases. So I understand. I think you're able to bring your own food. You're able to hang in your own. You're able to hang in your own car, and you bring your own beverages and those type of things. I think that's deemed okay. But as far as cooking, that and having a barbecue and that type of event, and we've all been to University of Hawaii. I mean, it's a parking structure and not too much more around being able to park in certain places. So just thinking creatively of how we could do things is best if we set up the vendors and we set up the entertainment and we set up the food and the food trucks and pop-up tents of your favorite, things you guys like to buy, different companies. There's a bunch of different clothing companies that have been giving me a lot of stuff. And, I'm just going to ask them if they like to set up tents and if that's okay with our administration and our people. But, we love to do some of those things and just kind of make it an atmosphere where, hey, we can enjoy all the entertainment, everything that's going on around the field. And then when it's time to kick off at 6 o'clock, then we funnel everybody in. And if you have a ticket and are able to get in, then enjoy the game. And if not, and if it's really crowded, hopefully we can set up a viewing area outside.
Fabulous.
Yeah.
Big screen.
Yeah.
Come one, come all. Everyone welcome.
I'm trying to get it where we're fighting for tickets at 15,000 seats, and then we could still have 15,000 outside. That would be amazing to me.
That would be hot, no question. We have to take a quick time out. We are at Ruby Tuesdays. This is the inaugural Call the Coach with Timmy Chang. We'll be right back on ESPN Honolulu.
Some people think of public workers as statistics, numbers, positions that are unnecessary. But public workers include police dispatchers, lifeguards, principals, and other school workers like safety and security specialists and educational assistants, public health nurses, and thousands more real people who play important roles that every community needs. So those public workers, we shouldn't take them for granted. They provide essential services that benefit us all. A message from HGEA.
Have you ever wondered why eyeglasses cost so much? The eyewear industry has been dominated by a single company that's kept prices artificially high.
Yikes.
Warby Parker was created to change that. They design and produce their own eyewear and then sell it directly to you for a fraction of the price. Warby Parker's high-quality glasses start at just $95, including your prescription. Try 5 pairs of frames for free. Go to warbyparker.com to pick your 5 frames to try on at home for free. That's warbyparker.com.
Here's something new from Pacxa, Hawaii's premier technology provider. HPE Electra powers your data from edge to cloud. The HPE data infrastructure is AI-driven, built for cloud, and delivered as a service. The solution provides fast, consistent performance and 99.9999% guaranteed availability. To learn more and to schedule a demo with Pacxa, Hawaii's HPE Gold partner, go to paxa.com/Electra. That's paxa.com/ALLETRA.
I need 4 more of the biscuit carnitas, 2 burnt end platters, 3...
The kitchen at Kai's Barbecue is firing on all cylinders.
Greg, help me bring these to the pickup counter.
He needs food runners who can hit the ground quickly.
86 on the chicken and we're short-staffed. Let's pick it up.
Indeed can help him hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. Instant Match instantly connects you with quality candidates whose resumes on Indeed match your sponsored job description. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Call the Coach with Timmy Chang on ESPN Honolulu.
Initial Call the Coach with Timmy Chang at Ruby Tuesdays here in Moanalua. don't know how often, or you do this, Timmy, but certainly you know, having played for June Jones, he was always a master of looking at a kid and saying, "No, I don't know. I don't think you're. I think we could put you on the D line." I mean, think of Wayne Hunter. I mean, think of the guy. He was the opposite, but started on D line, played in the NFL. I mean, there were so many guys who actually were excellent because their positions were changed.
Yeah.
Are you a guru with that? Do you kind of look at guys and say, you know what? I think we got a spot we can get you on the field faster.
You know, I think people have to have that talent now. You know, June did it very unbelievably with a lot of players. You know, one that comes to mind is Ikaika Lama Francis.
Yes.
You know,
good example. Wasn't even playing basketball.
Big 6'7" frame. And you love that type of length. You know, you love that type of height and arm length and those intangibles. And then you see the kid put on 50, 60 pounds, and now he's just a different player.
Yeah.
You know, and so I think all of us in the profession kind of look at people that way nowadays. You know, and we tell high school kids, you know, and high school coaches, you know, to play everything, because when you come to us, you know, we'll fit the need of where we think you fit.
Belong, right.
Belong, yeah, exactly.
You know, you've got a guy, when I saw Chad Owens Jr. on the roster, he's listed as a quarterback, and he's 5'9", and I'm thinking to myself, now, maybe he's a great quarterback, and that'll be his spot. But his father was one of the all-time great ankle breakers that I've ever seen as a returner in a slot. And I'm thinking, I want to find out if the kid is any of that.
He threw the ball pretty well today.
Did he?
You know, yeah, at practice, and so, but definitely you always think maybe he can play. Maybe he can play slot like his father.
Yeah. Well, you know, there's no law says you can only play one position. We're seeing that. Look at Deebo Samuels for the 49ers. I mean, he's a receiver, but heck, he looked like pretty good at running back to me, as far as I could tell.
True. I mean, you know, guys like that just add value to their game, right? They're talented guys that have to touch the ball, and so, you know, if we got guys like that, I think Calvin Turner was like that.
Yes.
You know, being able to watch him on film over the last couple years, you know, if you put him at quarterback or you put him at slot or you put him at outside receiver, running back, I mean, you just need to get the ball into that guy's hands.
Yeah, I wish we had another year of eligibility. I'd be running to the post office for that one.
Yeah, exactly.
That guy's pretty spiffy. You know, you're looking at a roster that you said you got a lot of guys that can play. You got speed. You noticed that already. Would you say the kind of as much speed as you had hoped for?
Yeah. You know, the kids are running around pretty well. You know, and Cody Cook, our strength and conditioning guy, coach, he does a great job. Him and his staff do an unbelievable job. And the first thing I told him is, you know, we want to increase team speed. So a lot of his workouts, a lot of the things that he implements is around speed. We also have to recruit speed. And so, you know, the kids that we have, you know, are doing well.
Yeah.
And we'll keep on harping on that. But we'll also, with our scholarships and things that we do, we'll recruit speed and put guys into position.
I have to tell you that when I started to look at who you were hiring, the hire that most impressed me was Cody Cook, because he came from the previous staff. He played at Tulsa. He was considered a Graham guy. But you got past that really quickly just to look and say, who is this guy?
You know,
and recognizing, and I agree with you, I think he's terrific. You talk to players, they all love him, and they credit him with a lot of their progress.
Yeah, it didn't take too long to figure out that Cody was a really good person first.
Yeah.
And how he trains this guy, what he's been doing with these guys is pretty remarkable. You know, he thinks outside the box. He works with what he has. He's always problem solving. And then he understands what he wants to do and how we want to accomplish things. You know, I'll throw in my ideas, and he'll make it work. And we're just on the same page. He's a guy that, you know, an important guy. You know, your strength and conditioning guy is important because they spend 4 months out of the year with your team.
Yes.
And so, you know, just kind of being around him and watching him work and watching his staff work. I appreciate his staff too. But watching them work the last couple months, it's been pretty cool.
I don't know. I mean, this is because I had gotten to know him a bit in the last couple of years, which is your new defensive coordinator, Jacob Euro. I know he was a St. Louis guy, didn't play college football here. But I've really enjoyed his approach to the game. Did you know him from St. Louis?
Yes, I did. And, I know we were at St. Louis around the same time, never played on the varsity together. He went away, and then I got into the varsity the next year. But he went to Montana, ended up playing against him when we went to Maui.
Yes, I remember it well.
Right.
War Memorial, yeah.
Him and Randy Akiona were on the same team in Montana. That was a fun game, and but we knew each other. And then when we get into the coaching profession, it's a kind of tight knit group. And June has a lot of coaches under him. One, his style of coaching was, June's style of coaching is unbelievable. It's unbelievable because he talks about the love that he had for his players, and he really does show it. But then also thinking outside the box with like run and shooting and those type of things really helped. But watching Jake and his growth and where he's been, he started at Pacific. He started the D3 program at Pacific back up from scratch. Recruited a lot of Hawaii guys. Okay, then he came out and he went to Cal Poly where he was with Josh Brown and a couple other guys, Etienne, and they were all together there. And Josh was the DC at the time. Then he came over to Hawaii and he was with Coach Rolovich and Corey Batoon and Mark Banker and those guys. And then he was with Todd Graham last year. And Todd's defense has always been hard and good and hard to play against. And so, for me, it just felt like it was the right time to let him go and have control of his own defense and kind of spread his wings a little bit, but bring some guys that he's been with that are also, good defensive minds that also are defensive coordinators back with him that are going to, help him along the way.
Which makes good sense. Here's Takio on Facebook. What is your strategy to recruit players in Samoa and local Polynesian players also now that top programs recruit there too?
That's a great question. With the Samoan kids, it's about creating the relationships and the trust. A lot of these kids, they go somewhere where they're gonna have an aunt or an uncle or a relative or a friend that already or a cousin that's already have been to a place, and so it gives them an instant connection into another, like Blessman and Panay and some of these other guys. Keiki Misapeka for us is a big time Polynesian recruiter. Samoa, Tonga, Australia, New Zealand, some of these areas down here that we'd like to touch base with. Keeping the Hawaii kids home is very important. Keeping the best ones.
I'd have to think when you guys give a call or knock on a door, people are listening at least. I mean, that much you can guarantee. They're going to listen.
Right. For me, making the decision to stay home wasn't a 4-year plan. It was a 20-year plan. It was a 25. It was a plan where down the road in life, where did I want to be? Where did I want to live? I want to live here, home in my homeland. And so, I say that to the recruits, is that, when you make a decision, don't just make a 4-year, 3-year decision. Make a decision for the rest of your life. And the thing that I want to create is I want to create a developmental program where, there's people around the program that are going to help these guys life after football. And create those bonds and those relationships that I'm telling these guys, when they go talk to the media, when they go sell themselves every day in front of their professors, in front of their peers, in front of us, like it's an interview. You're working.
It's an audition.
It's an audition. You're working on your life skills.
Sure.
And no different is that a CEO of a business is going to be looking at you and what value are you bringing to these companies or to this profession that you may have. But if you're going to stay home, you want to live home and live here, why don't you defend the state and play for the state, which, in 1999, like myself, like what I saw, is unbelievable. And the state will support us.
I don't think there's any doubt on that score. Coach, could you please bring back Senior Walk, where the seniors walk around the stadium and all the fans are able to meet them as they take their final walk encircling the stadium? we miss giving the seniors lays.
No doubt. No doubt. That's a tradition I'll definitely put on there.
I'm sure you remember your own senior walk.
Yes.
It's kind of unforgettable, isn't it?
Yes. And, like Colt at the time, just the stories of us just staying back and signing autographs for fans at the time. I mean, for the poor workers in the Aloha Stadium had to wait till all the people left. And so, it's very humbling and honoring at the same time.
When you had your senior walk, I remember looking down and saying, I can't see Timmy Chang's face. I mean, the lays were completely, I don't know how you could see out of them.
No, but that's what makes this place unique and special.
Yeah.
It's the people, it's the fans, and it's the love, and it's the aloha that people have.
All right, let's see what else we have here. We're going to do this. We're going to take a timeout, and then when we come back, we're going to have Chris Hart give some things away. When we come back, we'll get a chance to hear your questions, your thoughts. Go ahead and weigh in with us. We're getting a lot of them via text, but feel free to call also. This is the first ever Timmy Chang Call the Coach at Ruby Tuesdays, Moanalua on ESPN Honolulu.
Here's something new from Pacxa, Hawaii's premier technology provider. HPE Electra powers your data from edge to cloud. The HPE data infrastructure is AI-driven, built for cloud, and delivered as a service. The solution provides fast, consistent performance and 99.9999% guaranteed availability. To learn more and to schedule a demo with Pacxa, Hawaii's HPE Gold partner, go to paxa.com/Electra. That's paxa.com/ALLETRA.
March Madness? Sure, but there are other options. How about March Maintenance? Get a loan for home repairs or a remodeling project, or March Money Management. Use a loan to consolidate your debt. Or how about March Memories? Whisk away on that dream vacation. Now through the end of April, Hawaiian Financial Federal Credit Union is offering a personal loan rate of just 2.74 APR. Visit hi5cu.com for details. Rate includes 2.5% reduction rate for auto pay, 1-year term, rate based on credit score. All rates subject to change without notice. APR equals annual percentage rate. Federally insured by NCUA.
Some people think of public workers as statistics, numbers, positions that are unnecessary. But public workers include police dispatchers, lifeguards, principals, and other school workers like safety and security specialists and educational assistants, public health nurses, and thousands more real people who play important roles that every community needs. So those public workers, we shouldn't take them for granted. They provide essential services that benefit us all. A message from HGEA.
You can unlock more cash than you realize from your home's equity with a cash-out refinance today. In the last year, average home values have gone up nearly 20%. And with Rocket Mortgage, you can unlock thousands in less than 3 weeks. But you've got to act right now before rates go up. So when you're looking to unlock the cash in your home, Rocket can. Call 833-8ROCKET today or go to rocketmortgage.com to get started.
Rates current as of 12/12/21. Call for cost information and conditions. Equal housing lender licensed in all 50 states. NMLSconsumeraccess.org. Number 3030. Call 800-490-1233 for disclosures and cost information.
Call the Coach with Timmy Chang on ESPN Honolulu.
Tuesday for this edition of Call the Coach with Rainbow Warrior head coach Timmy Chang. You know, I think this has been ever thus, but a lot of times it's coaches that realize, you know, guys, the start of this season, late August, it's right around the corner. It's going to come way faster than you know. I think when you're 18 or 19, that seems like forever. They're thinking, what's he talking about? It's March. I mean, that's like a lifetime away. But I think we all know with a few rings around the tree, it ain't. It's coming up quicker than you think.
Well, I tell the guys, too, you know, their 4 or 5 years go back in a blink of eye, and they agree. You know, you recruit them, and you turn around, and 4 years later, they're getting their diplomas, and they're graduating, and they're out the door. And so, you know, they got to enjoy this short time. But there's so many – the thing I love about the professions, there's so many great life skills developed. You know, everybody that's had the privilege and honor of going to college, you know, it's a special time in your life. There's a lot of growth in there, right? There's a lot of things that you realized mom and dad told you along the way was true, you know, and some aha moments. So, you know, they got to value the time and appreciate the experience they're going through.
I don't know how much this was a factor when you played, but I'm guessing quite a bit because recruits would come in. They'd be mainland guys. They would come from California. I've always found it remarkable, the bond that gets formed sometimes incredibly strongly with local players who have family ties here and with the kids who just come over. I mean, they get to bond pretty quickly.
Yeah, and if they don't, this program, in all honesty, if the local kids and the mainland kids don't mesh,
it's a problem.
Your team is not going to be successful.
Yeah.
I don't remember being around and seeing a program, a Hawaii program that had success when their mainland kids and their local kids did not mesh and bond. We created Adopt a Brada. We created a program where a local kid, a Polynesian kid, needs to take care of a mainland kid. Know who he is. Have these conversations with him. We started testing them in the team meeting to see if they knew their family and where they're from and who they are. But more importantly, they need to hang out in the locker room.
Yes.
They need to hang out outside of football. And June would say this all the time. You don't remember all the plays. You don't
the scores.
The scores. You don't remember all those things, but you do remember the bonds you have. And it's funny because since I've been back, the relationships that I've had with my teammates and seeing these guys and seeing how they're so supportive. I mean, I just got off the phone with Afatia Thompson.
Oh, yeah.
And his son's now playing Matongi, is playing safety for us. But, Afatia wants to contribute and do his part in helping out the program and help build our tradition and brand. So it's just amazing.
And I noticed this because you've been out at various events at UH or Murphy's or various things. And I'm looking at, you're surrounded by former teammates. Guys are just coming out of the woodwork. They want to be part of it.
Yeah, and a lot of these guys are really smart and they add a lot of value to what we're doing and what we bring. And so it's pretty special. It's unbelievable. The circle I have around me, and it's a blessing. It's a blessing I have those guys. Those guys know who they are if they're listening. I love you guys, and I thank you.
Okay, I'm going to run out of time here if I'm not careful. Let me do this real quick. Hey, Coach, would it be possible to have a viewing party in the Stan Sheriff Center? Also sell food and drinks. Good luck.
Okay. If we sell out, I think
possible.
I think the administration will go for it.
Okay, let's get a couple of callers in. We got Keith. Keith, you're on with Coach Timmy Chang.
Thanks for taking my call, Coach Chang. Congratulations on the new gig. I met you 12 years ago. I'm actually calling from Winnipeg, Canada. So if you're wondering how I'm a Hawaii fan, it's Hawaii's got a strong football connection with our country. We have you spent some time here. June Jones spent some time here. Solomon and Laminium, Ryan Grace-Mullen. We just won a Grey Cup with Tuili, who just recently played for the Hawaii Rainbows. And we just signed Drew Brown to be one of our backup quarterbacks. So we have a connection, and I met you, like I said, about 12 years ago and at Iverwin Stadium in Hamilton, and you signed a Hawaii jersey for me. So I always would always remember that. I have to ask a question. So I've been curious, this for quite some time. How do you haven't been a head coach before, so it's different if you were a head coach. But as a new head coach and you're forming a staff, how do you guys create your playbook? How do you guys just get everything, all the information together? How you want to put it out, especially for spring camp? Do you just do it as day by day? You add more pages to the playbook, and how do you just the players come to you guys for the first time you guys practice? How does a coaching staff that's never been together actually have that kind of offensive defensive playbook? Just
it's
off the top of my head.
It really starts with the head coach and his style and what he wants to do, because now who a head coach or who I decide to hire in the coordinators plays a big part of who your team and identity is going to be. So if I'm talking about Ian Shoemaker, he has a style and brand of football where it's spread, it's RPO, it's up tempo, and he causes a lot of teams problem. Obviously, that he's been the number one offense in the country in the FCS. You know, if I'm hiring Jake Yoro, he brings a style of brand of football. You know, there might be some Josh Brown and his experiences that he's been there. There might be some Corey Batoon that he's come across of. There might be some Todd Graham that he's just recently been. And so those guys kind of set the mold. The head coach sets the mold, and these coordinators kind of set the mold of who you're going to be and what you're going to identify with. And then collectively, when you start putting pieces around and what you're going to do, you know, usually someone kind of just sets the tone that he's the chief, and everybody else just kind of falls in rank and falls in order. And then, you know, I start asking them about, hey, what do you think about this guy? What do you think about that guy? Does this guy fit us? Does that guy fit us? And so it's kind of putting in a tricky puzzle, not a complete scientific method type of deal, but you're just trying to fit personalities and experiences and concepts together that you think are going to mesh. That and for one, you being in Canada, you know, for here in Hawaii, it's a type of brand of football that you got to know what's successful.
You know, Timmy, I think that's well done. Thank you, Keith. We got one more caller. Paul's on the line. Paul, you're on with Timmy Chang.
Hi, Bobby. Coach Chang, welcome home.
Thank you.
Welcome home, man.
Thank you, Paul.
And my question is, you have two. I'll be quick because I'm short of time. You have two quality control coaches. You don't hear too much of this coaching position in on other teams. Can you explain? I know it's kind of self-explanatory, but can you explain what they do for the team? And I'm part of the 20-year plan too. Born and raised, UH grad too. Can you tell us what it's like to have a sports agent? I would love to have a sports agent at review time, and I'll listen off the air. Thank you.
Okay, so I'll take the first question. The quality control position. You know, it's a guy on a staff that he's not one of your full-time assistants. And being full-time assistants means there's certain rules that the NCAA puts out where a full-time assistant can go out on the road, he can go and recruit, he can walk into people's houses, he can call recruits, but also the full-time assistant is able to coach the players in a room or also coach them on the field. Well, quality control cannot leave the campus and go talk to recruits outside of the facility or outside of the program off campus, and nor can he coach on the field. And so now this job gets pretty specific in detail about what he can do. And so a lot of the things that our guys do, I brought two young guns. These are some of the young guns I was talking about. I brought Cade Socha and I brought Jimbo Davis. Both of them I coached with at Nevada. Cade Socha was my wide receiver GA last year, and you know, he came to me from a relationship that I spent at the Buffalo Bills on an internship, and you know, he came back. His father called me and said, "Hey, would you take my son?" I said, "No doubt, take your son." And he just happens to be a stud, and he's the point man on our offense. Where you know, he's breaking down film. He's preparing all the details in our offense. He's drawing up all the things that need to be drawn up as far as plays, cards. He's breaking down defenses. He's running our self-scout, and he's running our opponent scout. So he's very detailed into getting all the information and gathering all the data for us so that we're able to make some big-time decisions. The other question on the sports agent, I happen to have some great agents. I had them in college when I came out. It's Donnie and Steve Dubin, but the guy that I work with is Juan Lozano, and I've known this guy. It just so happened I was on a recruiting trip to Cal Berkeley at the time, and he was getting his law degree at Cal, and I ran into him as an 18-year-old, and at 40 years old now he's my agent, and we have that relationship and things like that. But he was unbelievable and instrumental in my career and how I got to where I am right now. And you know, I'm grateful for him and everything else.
Timmy, you might not believe this. We are flat out of time. Did that fly by or what? I promise you, they'll go even faster. Thanks to Timmy Chang, his whole family who came down, for all of you for coming to Ruby Tuesdays tonight. From all of us at ESPN Honolulu, for Keegan and Chris Hart, I'm Bobby Curran.
You You've been listening to
job,
Call
bro.
the Coach with Timmy Chang on ESPN Honolulu. Presented by Pacxa, Coors Light, and Ruby Tuesday Hawaii. And also brought to you by HGEA, Hawaiian Financial Federal Credit Union, and IBEW Local 1186.
Here's something new from Pacxa, Hawaii's premier technology provider. HPE Electra powers your data from edge to cloud. The HPE data infrastructure is AI-driven, built for cloud, and delivered as a service. The solution provides fast, consistent performance and 99.9999% guaranteed availability. To learn more and to schedule a demo with Pacxa, Hawaii's HPE Gold partner, go to paxa.com/Electra. That's paxa.com/ALLETRA.
March Madness has struck the islands. Join Chris Hart and friends for the Sweet 16 Thursday at Mai Tai Bar in Ala Moana from 3 to 6 and live music from Jasmine Nicole till 7. Then Friday from 3 to 6, Chris and his gang will be at Dave & Buster's Ward with their ginormous screen to continue the party. Drink specials, prizes, and good kind fun with Chris Hart and friends at Mai Tai Bar and Dave & Buster's. Oh, there'll be some basketball games too.
When you feel like Vegas, there's just one place to stay. Grab a drink at the Holo Holo Bar. There's just one place to play. We got a fresh, hot look, a new sports book. We got those local meals, just like Auntie cooks. Aloha spoken here.
Get back to Vegas with Vacations Hawaii. Airfare, hotel, meals, and transfers. Just $777.
Get in the zone. AutoZone.
Welcome to AutoZone. So you need to change your oil. Right now you can get 5 quarts of Valvoline Daily Protection or Valvoline Max Life High Mileage Motor Oil with an STP oil filter, plus an STP air filter or cabin air filter for just $36.99. Visit one of our 6,000 stores or order from AutoZone.com for same-day store pickup or next-day delivery.
Get in the zone. AutoZone.
Restrictions apply.
This is ESPN Honolulu, KKEA Honolulu, AM 1420 and K224FR.